A very good afternoon to all my dear students, Mr. Mohammed, Swati, Pramod, Ritu Tiwari, Aditi, Bharat, Samya. Good afternoon, children. Mehek Roy, Sri S, Ayushi, Ashutosh, Mr. Gufran. Nikita is asking a query on page number 3.20, first line, second paragraph. All right, Nikita, we'll just take it in a while. I hope it's related to your partnership only. So when you're talking about all right, it is related to your second chapter only, 3.20. We'll just take it in a while. Hari Ram, Ankita, Anushka, good afternoon, children. Mr. Tawfiq Mohammed is asking what is dissolution. So dissolution is part of your third chapter. Generally, dissolution of the firm means when the partnership firm comes to an end. How it is dissolved, when it is dissolved, we will be covering in the Friday's lecture. You will get to understand that. Thank you, Swati Giri. I'm fine and I hope you all are also fine. Okay, Nikita will take 3.20. Sarvesh, Thomas, Aisha. Before we start, children, any doubts till now so that we can start with the chapter and we can finish off relationship of partners. We'll be finishing today and on Friday, we'll be completing partnership by finishing the third chapter, that is registration and dissolution of firm. Mr. Kevin say, can you please revise us the previous lecture that we have done? So we will be just revising in a while. When I start the relationship of partners, I'll take you through and I'll be asking you MCQs also. So the revision will happen. Yes, Aditi, there are two Aditis over here. Shriya, Bhumika, Gopal, Mr. Suchang, Samina, all of you, good afternoon. There was another query somebody's asking about. Ritu is asking, ma'am, partnership at estoppel and mere silence are same. So estoppel generally is concluded with the same terminology where we are remaining silent and the other party is concluding that your silence has been considered as an acceptance. So in Indian Contract Act, where we studied mere silence is acceptance, it has different examples which you have to understand and learn. But partnership by estoppel is one of the ways of giving an acceptance. So you can just learn section 28 actually falls under partnership by estoppel. You cannot say that if you're introducing your friend as a partner and it is a case of partnership by estoppel, so you cannot directly go to the Indian Contract Act to conclude. You have to conclude it under section 28. Definitely, Ms. Sri, yes, I'll give you the tips for that as well. Ashwini, Lisa, Swati, Tamanna, Tanmeet, good afternoon, children. So I could not see any more queries. So let's start with our chapter. And one of the girl who has raised a query for page number 3.20, second paragraph, first line. So let me just quickly go through that and we can understand what is written over there. So second paragraph, first line. So basically 3.20, we are discussing about, are you talking about this paragraph? Partnership is a relationship eminently depending on the consent of parties, not only for its existence, but the terms of agreement are consistent with its essential nature, purpose, and agreement to become partners. This entire paragraph is telling you that all the entire context of partnership is based upon the agreement between parties. So whatever ABC has agreed, that will happen. Although the rights and duties have been clearly defined, they have been given under the sections particularly, but how the partnership will take place, how it is to be conducted, what are the duties we have decided will be on the basis of the agreement which is made and signed between the partners. All right, I hope this is the one that you were asking. And these rights we have already done, children. Today, those who wanted to revise something. So the duties of partners that we have discussed is that you have to be very diligent in performing the duties. You need to indemnify the firm if there has been any loss because of your conduct. And there are certain rights. You can participate in the conduct of business. Example number 2 is very important. You have to learn it. If any of the partners is restrained from participating in the conduct, you can even go for the dissolution. Meaning of dissolution means you can ask the court to wind up this firm, to end up this firm. This firm will not continue any longer. All right, children. So these rights and duties we have already discussed. We will not waste much of time because we have just 2 hours and we have to finish relationship of partners, and there are n number of things that I want to take up and I don't want to leave a single line. Okay. Partnership property, children, remember goodwill is also partnership property, and all the capitals and assets I made you write down last time also is considered as partnership property. I hope any no doubts over here. Personal profit, section 16, we have discussed from the presentation as well. Today, we are going to start a session from section 17. Section 17 simply tells you rights and duties of a partner after a change in the firm. So quickly tell me, children, when can a change in the firm happens? All right, Mr. Kevin, thank you so much. I hope now you're back in touch with us. Eminently depends, Nikita. Eminently, basically, it means it's saying entirely your entire context of partnership is based on your agreement only. So whatever type we have decided, that is something which is going to take place. We are on page number 3.24 only, Mr. Ashwini Prakash. So you can also open the same page, section 17. Good afternoon, Abhishek, Ashutosh, right to be indemnified. So Mr. Ashutosh is asking, what is the meaning of right to be indemnified? Right to be indemnified means the right to be compensated for any expenditure that you have done for the firm. Say, for example, there were not sufficient funds and you just went out and make the purchases in your own name. So now the firm has to indemnify you because any expenditure done by you for the concern of business will be considered as the partnership business expenditure and you will be paid for that. So generally we use compensation when any in act of emergency you have acted. So if Ashutosh, you were a partner in a firm and this fire occurred in the firm, so you were the only person available at that time and you just put your life into stress and you try to save all the files and documents. You put your life into trouble and then you did all these expenditure and you had to be bearing the hospital charges for the same. So now whatever things have been happening, you have been doing it for the protection of your business only. So now the firm should indemnify you, means they should compensate you whatever expenditure you have incurred in that context. Clear ho gaya? Okay. And those who are answering, ma'am, change in partnership happens on admission, retirement, death, accident. Gopal, Anushka, Tanmeet, very good. Shruti, yes, after changing the duties. When does the duties changes? That is what I'm asking you. Accident, Mr. Suchang, at the time of retirement. Vadekar Baba Sahib. Mr. Sarvesh says when partnership comes to an end. So I'm asking, when does the constitution changes? It is the correct answer is on the admission of the partner, retirement of a partner, death of a partner. Whenever any such kind of things is happening, the partners are leaving, they are joining the firm. Yes, Pramod K, Swati, Kevin, all these are correct. Tanmeet, Ashwani, Shruti, Sarvesh, everybody is correct. So this is what section 17 tells you, that your rights and duties entirely changes whenever a new partner is entering the firm. That means, what do we call the new partner entering is known as admission of a partner. We will do it in a while. When somebody is retiring means death or retirement of a partner. Outgoing partners mein isko cover karenge. When partnership was carried on business other than the business for which it was originally formed. So when it is for a particular partnership. Third wala point basically means particular partnership. You are doing original business, that is general partnership. We are into you always keep asking me difference between general and particular partnership. So we are a cloth merchants, we are into sale purchase of business, we have done general partnership, ABC are the partners unlimited liability. But we decided to carry on a particular business to hold an event or exhibition in Delhi for just 2 days. Now the 2 days event will be a particular partnership. As soon as the particular partnership ends, the constitution will come to an end and our rights and liabilities after this change will definitely undergo change. Partnership carried for the fixed term after the expiry of fixed term. So when does the constitution change happens? When the fixed partnership comes to an end. And if I still continue the partnership after the particular partnership ends or after the fixed partnership end, then what is this partnership known as? If particular partnership for 2 years end or the partnership which was for a fixed period comes to an end and still the partners decide to continue the partnership firm, what is that partnership known as? Jaldi jaldi batao. It will be known as Alfie Tangal, Shruti, Surya, correct for the previous one, Ashutosh. What will you call that? Partnership at will. Excellent, children. Particular partnership is done for particular period, is not permanently. Yes, that's correct, Shruti. Samina, Sarvesh, Ashwini, all of you are correct, children. Most of you, in case all of you have answered it correctly, it will become partnership at will. That means you have revised your chapter number 1 very nicely. Great. Now we are going to understand. So section 17 basically talks about these points only. उसकी summary आगे उन्होंने define करके दिया हुआ है. Relationship of partners to third parties is very, very interesting, and I have simplified in my presentation. So I'll take you to my presentation and we will continue from there. What is section 18 actually trying to tell you? Today we'll be covering 18 to 27, all the sections together. It talks about your extent of liability of the firm for the acts of the partner. So I taught you a principle wherein I told you that there are 3 partners. If A does anything from the firm, B and C are also liable. If B go out and purchase a nice table for the firm, C and A are also liable. Money can be recovered from C and A. Padha tha humne. What is this principle known as? What do you call this principle of partnership? What will you call this principle of partnership if I am liable for whatever other partners are doing and other partners are liable? So partner is an agent of the firm for the purpose of business of the firm. So what is this basic ingredient that we have studied? Excellent. Surya and Arun Kumar are the first one to answer this one. Mutual agency. Never mind, Miss Manisha. You're not very late, so you will just catch up with what we are doing. So we have just started with section 18 and did a revision. So what is that known as mutual agency? Now, yes, now everyone has sent the correct. The 5th ingredient, the element that is present in the partnership. Section 18 is talking about that principle only, that all the partners are the agent of the firm. Now, my question to you is, see, I'm asking too many questions to do today and you all are answering that. So that's really great. That's the best part, that you are answering it and answering it correctly also. That's also amazing. Very nice. All of you, mutual agency. Cardinal principle. Very good, Ms. Samina. So you remember this is the cardinal principle of mutual agency. Excellent. All right. Okay. Mr. Nabeen Kushwaha has entered into ostensible. Ostensible, I told you, an active partner is also known as an ostensible partner. Ostensible का general meaning English में होता है जो बहुत show off करता है. तो अगर आप बहुत show off कर रहे हो, बहुत ज्यादा अपनी active participation दिखा रहे हो, तो active partner को दूसरा नाम दिया गया ostensible partner. Refer to my first lecture of Indian partnership, you'll understand it there. Yes, that's correct. All of you have written correctly. So we all remember now section 18 children talk about the same 5th principle, that is all the partners are agent of each other. तो ये यहाँ पे हमें दोबारा से क्यों बोल रहा है, इस बात के बारे में क्या कहना चाहता है? हमें पता लग तो गया था, मैम आपने बता दिया था हमें 5 elements of partnership में mutual agencies, their partner is an agent of the firm for the purpose of business of the firm. So it says all the laws applicable to agent will also be applying to the partner. So like an agent is acting on behalf of a businessman and getting commission, similarly a partner is also acting on behalf of the firm and getting the share of profits. But this bold line is something very, very important. It says agency principle extends only to the business and is not going to cover anything done in the individual capacity. Now, what is the meaning of this line? Let's assume there are 3 partners, A, B, and C. And A is generally given the task of booking the flight tickets whenever they have any meeting. So they had a meeting in Bombay with a client, Mr. D. And A has booked the flight tickets for A, B, and C. Now, when the travel agent Mr. E came to take the payment, A was not in the shop or in the firm. So E met B and C. He said, please make me the payment. So this is what we have just learned, the principle of mutual agency. Even if A has made the payment of flight tickets for the business, B and C can also become liable. कर सकते हैं ना हम, E can recover the money from B as well as C. Also, any one of them has to pay it from the business funds. But in the very same example, if this Mr. A, along with the flight tickets for Bombay meeting with Mr. D, has also made a booking for Goa, and has extended his trip to enjoy with his family members. He thought, I am going till Bombay with all my partners. And he also booked the tickets and flight tickets for Goa and told his family that we will also stay for a little longer and we will also stay together, and extended his travel. Now, Mr. E can recover money from B and C for this Goa trip also, which Mr. A has booked. Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? A is a partner in firm and he has done the business transaction, booking the flight tickets, but he has also made a personal transaction. That is, he's booking the flights for Goa, where he's going for a family trip. Are B and C also liable for that action of the done by Mr. A? Yes or no? Very good. I know that you know the answer. So all those who have been saying yes, yes, yes till now the answer has changed to no, 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 it's definitely not possible. They're not liable for payment at all. Excellent, Kevin, Bhumika, Ashwini, Ritu, Anushka, Samina, Shruti, Sarvesh, Gopal, Manisha, Swati, Surya, Mr. Sachang, all of you are absolutely correct, children. Why? Because we are not liable each other for their personal things that they have done. So Mr. Gopal Mishra, excellent. It's a personal expenditure. BNC are not liable. Pragati, Uday, Vadekar Sahib, Mahima. So many of you answering it correctly. Mr. Kevin says liability for A Goa wala, I would be there on him, not BNC, as it's not professional. All right, so it's not professional, it's not personal expenditure, right? It's not the business expenditure. That's why it's not covered. Because it is a personal activity. Very good, Aditi Salvi, Pramod K, Simran Taj. It's correct. It's not related to firms transaction. So this is what section 18 try to tell you. So although the entire big paragraph and example given in the study material is simply saying this line, बहुत ज्यादा पढ़ने की जरूरत ही नहीं आपको, सिर्फ आपने ये प्रेजेंटेशन वाला पेज याद रख लेना है कि every partner is liable only for the business transactions and not at all liable for the individual activities done by the partners. Does not cover works in the individual capacity means that partners are not liable for their personal things that they are doing. Clear हो गया यहाँ तक, सबको समझ आ गया? And there is an example given over here in my presentation. The same example, he has booked a ticket for holiday for the travel agent. This partner makes the payment. We cannot bound the firm. Firm is not liable for his acts because this act was done on his personal purposes. So authority of a partner generally asks you this thing, that all the acts of the partner will be binding on the firm. No, only the acts related to business are binding on the firm. What is the meaning of binding the firm? Means holding the firm liable. So he can ask you capacity of a partner to bind the others by his act. Yes, ma'am, this is the mutual agency principle. This is the authority of a partner. Whatever purchases I am making, my other partners are also liable for that. Provided I am doing it with the consent of the partners. अभी इसके बाद एक topic आएगा where there is a restriction on incurring liability. Then it will be a different story. But as of now, mutual agency principle, we are understanding whatever work you're doing for the purpose of business, whole of the firm becomes liable for that. So authority of a partner is only limited to the acts of the business. Anything that you do for personal purposes, firm will not be held liable. And it says agency operates against sleeping or dominant partners as they are too liable for the acts of acting or ostensible partners. So it says the agency principle is also applicable to sleeping and dominant partner. Who are sleeping partners? Quickly tell me. Who was a sleeping partner? Ostensible तो मैंने अभी आपको दोबारा बता ही दिया. It's a kind of drawings, yes, Bharat Chaudhary, you can call it drawings, also personal expenditure. Yes, so who is a sleeping partner? Sleeping partner is one who is not known to the public, that he's not participating. He's not an active participant. That is why we remember that he's not even required to give a public notice on retirement. Remember? Because the sleeping partner is not known to the public because he's not participating in the day-to-day activities. But mutual agency principle is still applicable to a sleeping or dominant partner also. He will still be held liable to third parties. I told you when I taught you about sleeping partner, he's not involved in the business. That is correct. But he is still liable for all the activities done of the firm. Why? Because he's a partner in the firm. Since we are holding a nominal partner also liable, so sleeping partner will be capital be invest kara. He's sharing the profits also. He's getting all the other rights. Just one right of non-participation is not given to the sleeping partner. Clear, authority of partners also clear. Now let's move to the section 19. That is, so all these relationship of parties to third parties we are understanding. First, we have understood the extent of liability. Section 18 is done. Now we will talk about section 19, which talks about the implied authority of the partners. Now, this is again explained with a very nice and funny example that I've given to you. Express authority means we made it, we signed it in the partnership agreement. Abhi kisi ne query bhi pucha tha, eminently written in the agreement means whatever is written in the agreement, we'll blindly follow that. But sometimes we don't have make the written agreement. We do an oral partnership, and whatever the conducts that we are doing, how we are conducting the normal business, that is how we are showing our authority and powers. What is the meaning of authority? Authority means the capacity of the partners to bind the others by its act. So whatever authority, whatever powers have been given to the partners, whatever acts that they're doing, they're holding the firm liable for the same, number one. Number two, the authority can be expressly written in the partnership agreement, or it can be implied from the conduct of the normal business, acting in usual way of carrying the business, or acting in firm's name or intention to bind the firm. So how you're acting in the firm defines your authority. So this example says that normal business of the firm was to sell and purchase the shoes. See, one of the partners went and made the purchases of clothes instead of shoes. Do you think the partner has the implied authority? Implied का मतलब होता है कि जो बताने की जरूरत नहीं है, implied है by your actions. Now, if A, B, and C have come into the partnership, they are into sale purchase of shoes. They thought that Reebok and Nike are really doing well. Let's open up a competitive business, and they reunite करके उन्होंने अपना एक नाम बना लिया brand का, and they're selling a shoes. So they're combining the benefits taken by all the kind of latest technology being used by Reeboks and Nike, and they made their own name, reunite करके, and now they're doing the sale purchase of shoes. They've signed an agreement with that we are doing into business. Now, what is the implied authority? What is something which is not to be told expressly? It is very usual. It is something which is done in the usual way of business. So A, B, and C can purchase the shoes. They will be selling the shoes. They will account for the revenue. They will make the transaction. Ab ye cheez, do you need to write in the partnership agreement that when the customers come, you have to show them the shoes? This is implied, no? This is natural. This is the usual way of acting in the business. How you're behaving, how you're acting is something which is implied, something which is known from your conduct, something which is not to be expressed. So now in this example, I'm trying to tell you that, is it the implied authority of the partner to purchase the clothes for the firm? The answer is no, because he can only do the acts which are related to the business. Firm is not bound by any other acts done by you. So section 19 is also very closely read with section 18. Just tarah se section 18, partners are not liable for personal purchases that you have made or personal transactions that you have done. Similarly, if you are trying to use your implied authority for your own benefit, he thought that, okay, let's start the purchases of clothes also, or he's taking his individual decisions. This is not something which was done part of business. Therefore, firm is not liable for this thing. Now, you cannot say that this person was a partner in the firm. He was a dealer who is regularly coming for purchase of shoes. Now he has come for purchase of cloth. So we have come to recover the money from firm. Firm will not be held liable for this thing. Clear ho gaya? Section 19 is also clear now. So law says, although the partners have this implied authority, they can do any kind of business on. Yes, if this partner is only going for purchase of shoes for the purpose of sale in the business, then it's fine. Then any one partner can be held liable for the payments. But law says certain restrictions have been imposed on this implied authority. There are 7 types of restrictions which says that unless and otherwise there is an agreement to this effect, these 7 things cannot be done by the partners. So means restrictions and implied authority means partners cannot do the following acts unless it is completely agreed in the partnership agreement. So what are these 7 kind of things which partners cannot do? Number 1, submit a dispute for arbitration. Who is an arbitrator? Before understanding this point, it's very important to know who is an arbitrator. So children, arbitrator is a person to whom we refer our disputes or fights outside the court. So maybe there was a husband-wife and they had a quarrel and they thought, let's not go to the court, let's go to the arbitrator and we'll resolve our matters outside the court only. So there is an arbitration cell which is made, so you don't have to register yourself or make the entries and wait for the dates of the court. You can directly go to the arbitrator and he's also acting as a lawyer and try to listen to both the parties and try to resolve the matter. In partnership also, if you have certain kind of disputes हो सकते हैं ना, लड़ाई झगड़ा हो सकता है, आपने मेरा शेयर ऑफ प्रॉफिट ठीक नहीं दिया, आपने ज्यादा प्रॉफिट्स अपने पास रख लिए, आपने लॉसेस में मुझसे ज्यादा कंट्रीब्यूशन मांग ली, अनलिमिटेड लायबिलिटी है पार्टनर्स की, तो लड़ाई झगड़ा होने का चांस रहता है, कई बार हो सकती है. एंड बिकॉज इट इज ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ म्यूचुअल ट्रस्ट एंड कॉन्फिडेंस ना, तो जहां ट्रस्ट लूज हो गया तो वहां पे डिस्प्यूट्स आ ही जाएंगे पार्टनर्स में. सो लॉ सेज you cannot say that it is my implied authority that I can go and file a case in arbitration. Submitting a dispute for arbitration, a restriction has been imposed that the partners cannot file a case for dispute in case of arbitration. They can hire a lawyer, they can go to the court, they can fight their case, but to arbitration only if they have made an agreement. अगर मैंने पार्टनरशिप एग्रीमेंट में लिख दिया है कि yes, tomorrow if there is any dispute we can go to the arbitration, then you can do so. Otherwise, if it is not written, then submitting a dispute for arbitration is not possible. A partner cannot do these following acts. Whatever the things we are discussing is something which the partner cannot do. That is what we mean by putting a restriction on your implied authority. So first point is clear. Second point, opening a bank account on behalf of the firm in his personal name. Now there was firm ABC Associates, and this Mr. A went and he opened the A's bank account, and he said that this will be the firm's business account. Can Mr. A does so? Is it okay to do and open the account of the firm's business in your own personal name? This cannot be done. You're doing something really wrong. You have to use the name of the firm. That's why we are into partnership. All the name of the firm, that is the collective name of all the partners which we have formed the firm's name. It should be used in order to open the bank account on behalf of any of the firm. Third kind of restriction on the implied authority is to compromise or relinquish any claim by the firm. Compromise or relinquish means to withdraw, means to cancel. Okay, write down in your own language, means to cancel any claim. So there was any claim, any money which was to be won by the firm. So one of the partners just said that went to the court and he said there was a case going in the court and the firm has filed a case for the recovery of 1 lakh rupees. And Mr. A went to the court and he said that we want to cancel this claim. We don't want to fight anymore and we don't want to have this claim of 1 lakh rupees. Is Mr. A having the implied authority to do this without consulting other partners? Law says this cannot be done. You cannot end any claim by the firm on your own. Similarly, you cannot withdraw any suit or proceedings filed by the firm. So if firm has filed any case in the court, we all partners have to agree to that and we have to go for the hearings date. You cannot withdraw means you cannot take back this case filed by the firm. To admit any liability in a suit or proceeding against the firm. So in the same way as we cannot cancel our claim by the firm, similarly, you cannot accept any liability in a case filed by the firm. अब इसका interesting सा example लेते हैं. ABC Associates have filed a case and they were fighting with one of their dealers, Mr. D, that we will not make you the payment of 1 lakh rupees. There was a fight and on the basis of an entire analysis of studying the history, geography of the case, it was held that the firm ABC Associates do not want to make the payment of 1 lakh rupees to their dealer. So the case was going on, the dealer has filed a case and there was a case going on. Now, one of the partner, Mr. A, just went to the court and he said, okay, we accept our liability of 1 lakh rupees and we will make the payment. So Mr. A was told that there is a restriction on the implied authority. Section 19 clearly tells you that you have no right to accept any liability against the firm. How court decides that you have to pay 1 lakh rupees, then it's altogether a separate story, but you cannot directly go to the court and you can say that, okay, fine, the firm is really doing well and having a lot of money, so I'm ready to accept the liability on behalf of the firm. That is something which you cannot do at all. All right. And another one is to acquire immovable property on firm's behalf. So you cannot acquire any immovable property if you're taking it on behalf of firm's name. This cannot be done. Transferring the immovable property. So I decided that what is the meaning of immovable property? All the land and buildings, something which cannot be detached from the part of land. Movable is something which we can freely purchase, but you cannot acquire immovable property. If Mr. A has taken land on the firm's name, so there is a restriction on implied authority. You're not allowed to do that. Transfer the immovable property belonging to the firm. So if you try to transfer any of the property, then also there is a restriction on the immovable implied authority of the partner. And entering into partnership on behalf of the firm, this is very, very important. A partnership firm cannot enter into the partnership with another firm. So that means if you are trying to enter into partnership, you are the ABC Associates is the partnership firm, and Mr. Ray thought that I will enter into the partnership with another person by saying that I'm the representative of ABC Associates. Then Mr. Ray can be a partner in other firms, but the firm cannot be a partner in the in another firm. All right. So I give you just 2 minutes, just take 2 minutes, and I'll take a small break and just read whatever we have discussed, section 18 and 19, 17, 18, 19. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So I'll take a 2 minutes break here. Can we start back? Students, can you hear me? All right, somebody is asking about the point. Number E is not clear implied authority. So where you asked me that the partnership can be entered, can partnership enter into another partnership firm, can become a firm? Mr. Gopal Vishram, this is what I told you, that you cannot enter into partnership on behalf of the firm. You cannot say that ABC Associates is entering into partnership with another firm. You as a partner, Mr. A, can enter into another number of firms, depending upon the limit of number of partners should not be exceeded. But otherwise, your firm cannot enter into partnership. Ms. Simran Taj, for regarding sixth restriction, if you're acquiring immovable property on firm's behalf, that means on the behalf of firm's name, you cannot acquire any immovable property. You're not allowed to transfer any immovable property, means any land purchases or buildings, something which cannot be detached from the part of land. You cannot, there is a restriction on an implied authority. Consent of all the partners is mandatory if such kind of things are happening. All the partners should have made the agreement to that effect. All right, unless and until the agreement is not there, you cannot proceed further in such kind of restrictions. All right. Point number C, Abhishek is asking, compromise or relinquish any claim means that you cannot accept any claim. Fifth point says you cannot admit any liability. Sixth point says you cannot give up any liability. So third and fifth point are interrelated. You cannot give up any liability on firm's name. That means 1 crore rupee was due by the firm and you said that we give up this claim. The firm will not pay this claim. We are withdrawing it. We are compromising means to cancel. So यहाँ पे आप ये word लिख लोगे, relinquish or compromise means to cancel. So there is a restriction. You cannot put any cancellation on any such kind of claim by the firm. All right, it's clear now. Mode of doing the acts, Miss Anushka Jaiswal, page number 3.26. We'll just go on page number 3.26 and discuss about the same. Mr. Ashwini Prakash is saying that you want me to do MCQs. We will take you to the MCQs and then you'll feel more confident. All right. Sakina Banu Burani, give one more example of implied authority. Okay, so you want example of implied authority. It means, for example, Miss Sakina, you are a partner with Nikita and Akshay Kumar. So Nikita, Akshay Kumar and Sakina are into partnership firm and they have opened up a grocery store where they are doing sale and purchase of biscuits, chips, all the confectionery items. So now, Sakina, you tell me, there is a need to write in the partnership agreement that since we are into departmental store business, so Sakina can go and do the purchases from the manufacturers. Akshay can stand in the shop and do the selling. Who was another one? Nikita can take a loan from the market for the purpose of business. Do we need to write such kind of things? Terms and conditions of partnership agreement definitely will be defined in the partnership deed, but there are certain authorities which are implied by your conduct. Means it is not necessary to write it down, but it is very much clear from the conduct of the business. So implied ka matlab hota hai something which is not written. Express authority means I have expressly given the right that Sakina can make the purchases for the purpose of business only up till amount of rupees 10,000. तो मैंने restriction लगा दी, express कर दिया. But implied means being silent. I have not written how much purchases you can make. So please feel free to act in the normal course of business. Act in the usual way of carrying the business. Acting in firm's name and binding the firm, these are the some things which the partners are allowed to do, and this is what they do with the name of partnership. All right, clear ho gaya? ठीक है. Let's move ahead. Now let's take up all those who still have little doubts in the restrictions. It will become more clear when we talk about extension and restriction of partners implied authority, section 20. Now, section 20 is very, very interesting, children. See, children, in law, when you start finding the things boring, I always keep telling you that always read the examples and the case studies given in your law material, study material, law books as short stories. Try to take yourself to that story, involve yourself. That is how you start feeling things interesting. It says third party is not partners by mutual agreement can extend or restrict the implied authorities. That means I have the eligibility. I have been allowed as a partner that I can make an agreement and I can put a restriction, or maybe I can extend anyone's implied authority. Now, who are the third parties? It says third party is not bound by such restriction. Third party hoti kaun hai? Third parties are the people who are dealing with the partnership firm, either the bankers, the creditors, the suppliers, the dealers who are providing us the requirements, whatever we require for the firm's business. All these are known as third party. Now, at times, third party is aware about this restriction. If I have told Mr. Ray cannot make the purchases beyond certain amount, my third party, the dealer, is also aware. So it says if the third party is aware of this restriction, then he will be considered eligible for that. He will be considered at default if we still allow the partners. But the innocent third party will not be bound by the restriction unless he has knowledge about such restrictions. अब ये दो लाइनें सेक्शन 20 में जो लिखी है ना, ये आपको थोड़ी ट्रिकी लगेंगी, बट जब आप एग्जाम्पल समझ आते हो ना, तो ये दोनों पॉइंट्स बहुत बहुत सिंपल हो जाएंगे. तो पहले तो हमने दो पॉइंट्स ये लॉ के ये रीड कर लिए. सेक्शन 20 बोलता है कि पार्टनर्स कैन एक्सटेंड और रिस्ट्रिक्ट इम्प्लाइड अथॉरिटीज एंड थर्ड पार्टी इज नॉट बाउंड बाय सच रिस्ट्रिक्शन. उसकी कोई गलती नहीं है. दैट पार्टी विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज एन इनोसेंट थर्ड पार्टी. एग्जाम्पल, A, B, C are partners selling furniture. So before that, tell me what is the implied authority. A, B, C have the full authority to sell and purchase the furniture. They can make the purchases in the name of firm. They can hold each other liable. That's correct. Everyone is correct upon this? Yes, Mr. Ankit Jha, it may vary depending upon the type of business that you're doing. Okay, all right. So what is my implied authority? I can purchase the furniture, I can sell the furniture because this is my business. In the usual course of business, I can do all these activities. But can Mr. A purchase the furniture for his home and make B and C liable? No, ma'am. Section 18 clearly says we are liable only for the acts of the business. Implied authority should be done only for the purpose of business. Clear हो गया सबको? अब A made an agreement. Mutual agreement means आपस में decide करना, mutually सबने agree करा हुआ है इस point पर, that A will not buy furniture more than rupees 10,000. So whatever purchases Mr. A is going to make, he will not make the purchases for more than rupees 10,000. But he purchased furniture of 20,000 from Mr. X. Excellent. अब क्या हुआ? X is a third party. X कौन है? X is third party over here. X is not aware of this restriction. X को नहीं पता था कि A के पास तो पावर ही नहीं है. रिस्ट्रिक्शन लगा देना अथॉरिटी पर. अथॉरिटी का मतलब होता है पावर. What is your power as a partner? We have done rights and duties. Now we are doing what are the powers available to the partners. So X third party was not having any knowledge of this restriction. So now he will go and he will claim the money from the firm. He will say, Mr. B and C, look, I don't know what you have personally agreed. I was not aware of this restriction, so I am not bound, means I will not bear the loss. Pay me my rupees 20,000. Fair enough. This is what is written under section 20. But unless he has knowledge का मतलब क्या है, वो ये second point clear करेगा. If X is aware of this restriction, अगर X को पता था that A cannot buy more than 10,000, then also he made a supply of 20,000. Now he cannot claim the money from the firm. So if you are aware, if you are a third party, what 2 points you all have to remember? If you are a third party and you are aware of the restriction, if you are not aware of the restriction, firm will pay you money. And if you are aware of this restriction, then you cannot claim the money from the firm. Simple. Now it is clear. Everyone is clear about section 20. With the example, it becomes very, very clear. That's why I keep telling you, make a habit of writing examples in exam also, and try to pick up the examples with every case that you pick up. All right. Now, liability to third parties. We all know that the parties' liabilities of partners is unlimited. We have discussed about the same, and now we will do the same with the help of an example also, how the partner's liability is unlimited. How can you hold the partners liable to third parties? So section 25, 26, 27 children completely talks about how the partners are liable to third parties. Number one, the liability of partners is joint and several. Joint and several means all the partners are together held liable. All the partners are liable in their individual capacity also. How are they liable in individual capacity? Let me take your case. Fatavat say, if there is a liability of 1 crore rupees and the assets of the firm are only 80 lakhs, how will you pay the balance liability for the partners? So there are partners A, B, and C. They have to make the payment. Okay, let's assume little lesser example, 1 crore bahut zyada ho gaya. They have 10 lakh rupees liabilities and they have the assets 8 lakh. How are they going to bear the balance 2 lakh rupees? How the partners will bear the liability of 2 lakh rupees? Tell me. Will the partners do something for the purpose of business? How are they going to bear it? From his home, Ashwani says, they will sell their personal assets. Balance 2 lakh has to be shared among them. They should bear the liability equally. Their personal assets will be contributed. Excellent, Mahavir, Shruti, Gopal, Nabin, Kevin, Ashwin, Abhishek, all of you who have said that the personal assets will now become liable. This is what is understood by the partners being jointly and severally liable. That means individually. Several means individually also you are liable. It's not only their personal property will become liable. Very good, Mahima, Swati, Tanmeet, Samina, all of you correct. Many of you are saying they will bear the liability equally. Okay, that's absolutely correct. Bhumika, Manisha, Shriya, all of you, that their liability will also become liable equally. But that is again a different story, whether they are paying equally or how they are paying. But definitely the personal assets will be held liable. And this is what this example over here, this picture, the diagram which tells you, there were 3 partners who have invested $10,000 each. So they decided to do new business. They all have become chartered accountants. कल result आया ये CS का. तो Mr. Ajay Kumar, Mr. Rakesh and Mr. Nitin 3 CS थे, 3 friends थे. कल result आया CA बन गए. उन्होंने बोला चलो $10,000 invest करके new business शुरू करते हैं. Now they started with the new business and the liability which the business had was accrued to $90,000. Now, when do we have to look into the liabilities? You have to see that whether the assets of the business are sufficient to pay these liabilities or not. So how much shortfall children they are having? The capital invested is only 30,000. Let me see how well you study about your accounts also. So your capital invested is $30,000 and liabilities outstanding are 90,000. So if you're not able to set the liabilities, the shortfall of $60,000 was there. Now, all the partners individually become liable to pay $20,000, $20,000, $20,000 each. Why? Because you have to settle the liabilities. The liability of partners is unlimited. So as a chartered accountant, you're going to bear so much difficulty, and you thought that I will have to bring the liability and personal assets from home also. So what is a wise decision that you can do? Instead of opening a partnership firm, what could be another wise decision so that my liability does not become that much unlimited? So what can we do? I told you about this also. Yes, Mr. Sachang, we'll take up all the examples from study material also. Don't worry. So what is the better option available to me in order to avoid bearing this much unlimited liability? Government has now given a new ruling, has passed a new form of organization, that is LLP, which gives you the right and flexibility of an agreement by forming a partnership, and also the eligibility of limited liability. There, my liability does not become that huge. There, my liability is restricted to the assets that have contributed in the firm. So unlimited liability is the major factor because of which LLP was started. Excellent, Mahavir, Ritu, Abhishek, Mansi, Kevin, Sarvesh, you all of you remember about this. Mr. Sachang, Mahima Jain, Abhishek, all of you are correct. But as of now, we don't have to go into LLP. हमने तो सिर्फ ये समझना है कि Indian partnership में unlimited liability is the only drawback and feature which has given rise to LLP. And that this is what helps you to remember the unlimited liability example also. Done. So this section 25, 26, 27 examples, we will just take it from the study material in a while. It says any wrongful act done by a partner, agar partner kuch galat karta hai, then also the firm is held liable. If any misapplication, remember misapplication, the car which we have rented for the purpose of business, he took that car for some other purpose. So what happens under all these kind of actions, we will understand with examples from the study material. But before that, let's complete a very, very interesting and important topic, that is section 29. What is section 29? Known as the rights of the transferee of partners in trust. So this topic is known as sub-partnership. Many of you keep writing to me and have doubts in this. So 100% attention I want in order to understand what is sub-partnership. Section 29 clearly tells you that any one of the partner can transfer his share of profits to another partner. Likh lo isko. When one of the partner decides to transfer, his percentage of share of profits to an outsider, a sub-partnership is said to be formed. A sub-partnership between that partner and the outsider is said to be formed. Now, section 29 tries to tell you that whenever a new partner is introduced in the firm, it results into change in the constitution. Therefore, all the partners must agree to it. So there are three partners, A, B, and C. And A thought that A had to make certain payments, or maybe A had a friend, Mr. D, who was dealing with A on regular basis. And A and D made an agreement that whatever share of profits I will get in my firm, 50% of the profits I will give to you. So D was friend of Mr. A, and A made an agreement with D that in this firm of ABC Associates, we are getting profits. Whatever profits I get, I means Mr. A will get, he will give 50% of the share of profits to Mr. D. So now A and D have entered into sub-partnership. This can happen only with the consent of all the partners. So only if A, B, and C, all of them consent or agree to this, then only A can transfer his interest, means transfer his profits or whatever interest he has in the firm, whatever agreement he has made, he can do only with the consent of other partners. Failure to obtain consent is a ground for dissolution. Now, A did not consult B and C and entered into sub-partnership. What will happen? B and C will demand for the dissolution of the firm. They will not agree to continue the firm. The firm comes to an end. Dissolution ka matlab hota hai, the firm comes to an end. It's wind up. It's completely closed. It's finished. So it is very, very important. In order to form a sub-partnership, consent of all the partners must be taken. And if you don't obtain the consent, the firm comes to an end. Clear ho gaye do point. Point number 3 कहता है interest in partnership का मतलब होता है profits or the assets of the firm. So either we are talking about the profits of the firm, either I've decided 50% of the profits I'm going to give you, or the 50% of the assets that belong to me as a partner will be yours. Rights of transferee. Now this Mr. D, इसके rights की बात करें. Transferor is Mr. A. Transferee is Mr. D. He will receive the shares as per the profits declared by the partners, and he has no right to conduct, inspect the books and check the accounts. What are the rights of sub-partner? Two rights have been given to the sub-partner, children. Under section 29, subsection 1, the sub-partner can only receive the share of profits as per the profits declared by partners, and he will not be allowed to conduct the business. Why? Because sub-partnership is created only between A and D. D का ABC associates के साथ कोई concern नहीं है. He will not conduct the business. He will not inspect the accounts. He is not a normal partner. फिर तो हम एक्टिव पार्टनर ही ले लेते हैं, एडमिशन ऑफ पार्टनर कर लेते हैं. हमने सब पार्टनरशिप क्रिएट करी है. सब पार्टनर में ओनली द पार्टनर हु हैज मेड एन एग्रीमेंट टू ट्रांसफर हिज शेयर, दैट पार्टनर इज ओनली रिलेटेड टू हिज सब पार्टनर. फर्म will not allow him to conduct the business, and he will not inspect the books of accounts. Now let me ask you a question. There was a profit of rupees 9,000 and they were sharing the profits equally. So 3,000 was given to Mr. A, 3,000 was given to Mr. B, and 3,000 was given to Mr. C. Can we say these are the profits declared by the partners? Yes, ma'am. What share of profits will be given to Mr. D? Mr. D will get, you have to tell me. What is Mr. D going to get? Ms. Bhumika Johan has written, one partner will pay all the liabilities and recover it from the firm later on. So firm is the partners themselves. So maybe you can say from the other partners. That is also correct. Manish Jain ने पूरा 3,000 ही दे दिया. D is only related to profits. Yes, Ritu Tiwari. Meaning of consent, Miss Priyanka, mein, meaning of consent means to give approval, to say yes for, to allow them. So only if all the partners will allow, then only this thing can happen. Mahima Jain, he is not here for contributing towards losses. Very important point. He only receives his share as per the profits declared. So 1,500 is the correct amount, my children, as decided by A. Gopal Mishra ne kahani khatam kar di. Chalo. As decided by A. So A has already decided 50%. Yahan likha tha maine. So 50% of 3,000 will be 1,500. So now A will share his profits 50% with Mr. D, because this is the agreement that they have made. So A will get 1,500 rupees. Shreya Tiwari says 3,000 rupees. That's not correct. So I hope you have understood now why I'm saying 1,500, because yes, Mahavir, 50% of 3,000. Sarvesh again 3,000. No, it is wrong. 1,500 is the correct answer. So I hope you all have understood. So D, who becomes a sub partner, will only get the share of profits which have they decided as per the agreement, and he will not have any right to conduct the business or to inspect the books of accounts. Why he has no right? Because he is only dealing with the partner, Mr. A. He is his sub partner. He will only quietly eat the profits, whatever A has decided to contribute him. He will not participate in the conduct of the business. What is section 29 subsection 2 telling you? It says if the firm gets dissolved, children, then this transferee, that is Mr. D, is entitled to all the assets of the original partner, number one, and also he will now inspect the accounts of the partner. Remember last class when I taught you, when the death of the partner happened, the legal heirs are allowed to inspect the books of accounts. They will come and check whether your books are correctly maintained, whether my share of profit is correctly calculated or not. Similarly, when the firm is dissolved, transferee means the person who was a sub-partner to whom the share of interest has been transferred. So who was transferee in our example? Mr. D. Now Mr. D will come and say that this original partner, Mr. A, either he is retiring or the business is coming to an end, whatever is happening, he will step into the shoes of all the assets of the original partner. Was the original partner Mr. A? So now on dissolution, he will get all the original assets of Mr. A, and also now he can inspect the books of accounts. This is not what Harleen ma'am is saying. This is what section 29 subsection 2 has given the right to a sub partner. So whenever you enter into sub partnership with anyone, remember that when the firm will be ending, he will get all your original assets and he will be allowed to inspect the books of accounts. Why we are allowing him to inspect the books of accounts? Because now he wants to check whether the share of profits calculation has been done correctly, because firm is now coming to an end, whether he has been paid the correct amount or not. And all the assets of the original partner, he is entitled to all the assets. He will take all the assets of the original partner, that is Mr. A. So to sum up, section 29 subsection 1 deals with the continuation of business. When the business is in continuation, you cannot inspect the books, you will only quietly eat the profits. And section 29 subsection 2 deals when the business comes to an end, you become entitled to all the assets of the original partner, and now you can inspect the books of accounts. Clear ho gaya? Simple? All right. Before doing section 30 and 31 and 32, let me take you to the MCQs. We have to complete this entire chapter today itself. So before you start falling asleep, it's important that let's do some MCQs that we have covered till now. All right. MCQ number 3 we are going to do right now. Which of the following acts are not included in the implied authority of a partner? All right, Shruti Pathak, no worries. Soumya, Ranjan, your answer was also correct. Which of the following is not the implied authority of partners? You have to choose the correct one. Buying and selling the goods, borrow the money, enter into partnership on behalf of the firm, engage a lawyer to defend action against the firm. Which is the correct answer? Mr. Abhishek Vishwakarma, in what ratio he gets the assets and profits, that is what is decided as per the agreement between the partners. Yes, Manish Chen, regarding minor, that's correct, but just wait for 5 minutes. We'll be starting with minor also. Yes, Ashwani Prakash, then he gets 100% of the profits that were accruing to Mr. A will come to now Mr. D. Nikita is saying 3B. Sarvesh is saying 3D. Ritu is also saying 3D. Miss Thomas, you are correct. Bharat is also not correct. Priyanka is also not correct. Lisa is also not correct. Why so many wrong answers, children? Gopal is also not correct. Mehak Roy is also not correct. 3A, B, D. Why are you saying this, Shruti Pathak? Why D? Anushka Jaiswal, excellent, correct. Abhishek, correct. Aisha Sood, correct. Pramod, K, Ayushi, Ashwani, Manishi. Manshi Sahani, Mrs. Manshi Sahani, you're correct. Mahima, Kevin, Abhishek, Miss Thomas, Samina, Anjali, Naveen, Tanmeet, Mahavir, Sarvesh, all of you are correct. Children, Bhumika is also correct. Mahima Jain, Anushka, Mr. Sachang and Simran Taj was the first one to send the correct answers. 3 ka C is the correct answer. Manisha Raj Purohit, D is not the correct answer. Oh, Akshay Kumar, you come up with a different question every time when we're doing MCQs. He's saying analysis, writing an exam or only short concepts. So when we discuss about descriptive case studies, there you ask me such questions. Then we will discuss how the analysis of the cases has to be done. Okay. Sakina, correct. Bhumika, Swati Giri, Mahima Shruti, Vadikar Sahib, Ashwini, Shriya, Soumya Ranjan, all of you are correct, children. 3C is the correct answer. Now, those who were asking, ma'am, what is the example of implied authority? Can you buy and sell the goods? I told you when I was teaching this example to Shruti, when I told you that how we have to, Ashwani, let us first complete this question, then we'll jump to the next question. I hope, Mr. Ashwani, now you are attentive and awake because you were falling asleep in between earlier, huh? So buying and selling the goods on account of partner, this is what is implied authority. We have the power to do so. Can we borrow the money? Can you go and borrow the loan from the bank? Yes, ma'am. It is not required to be written somewhere. We have this implied authority. Can we engage a lawyer? Now, why this? Yes, Manisha is asking why there is a confusion between C and D. This is what I'm going to tell you. Engage a lawyer to defend action against the firm. What was the first restriction, children? I told you there is a restriction on implied authority. Did I say that you cannot hire a lawyer? I said submitting a dispute for arbitration is a restriction on the implied authority. Arbitration में नहीं जा सकते हो, but lawyer तो hire कर ही सकते हो. I never put any restriction on your implied authority regarding hiring a lawyer. So hiring a lawyer is within the implied authority. The only restriction on the implied authority is when you are talking about to submit a dispute for arbitration. I told you the meaning of arbitration means where you're hiring someone to resolve your dispute, something which you're doing outside the court. That is something where restriction has been imposed. Partners are not given the liberty to appoint an arbitrator. But hiring a lawyer, engaging a lawyer for defending the action, that is allowed. So the only one which is left over here is third one, to enter into partnership. The last point, 8th point, many of you have asked it also. So I have resolved your query also on this. To enter into partnership on behalf of firm, this is not included in the implied authority. You cannot do that. Okay. Okay, 5th one also you can do. If a partner commits fraud in the conduct of the business, then the firm then will indemnify the firm for any loss caused to it by his fraud. He is not liable to the firm. He is liable to the partners. He is liable to third parties. Miss G. Subhana, your answer was correct. What will you do if you have committed any fraud in the conduct of the business? Which is the correct option? Read the question carefully, then jump into the answers. Anjali Verma saying 4th. Wrong. Correct, Simran Anushka, Mr. Sujang. No, Mr. Abhishek, partnership firm cannot become a partner in another firm. Partners can, but not the firm. So the correct answer to this one is, if a partner commits any fraud in the conduct of the business, he shall indemnify the firm for any loss. So if the firm has suffered any loss because of him, like the right has been given to the partner to be indemnified, similarly, it is one of the duty of the partners. Pehle din jo humne duties mein padha tha, this was the last duty where we have studied that it is the duty of the partner to indemnify, means to compensate the firm if firm has suffered any loss because of his conduct. So where the X was not aware of the restriction and A is making the purchases of 20,000, balance 10,000 has to be paid by Mr. A on his own because he has made a mistake. He has gone beyond his restriction of authority. Therefore, he should indemnify, means he should pay the firm for the loss which has been caused because of his fraud. Clear ho gaya? This one also you can do. 5th A is the correct. Very good. All of you have given the correct answer. Only few of you. Mr. Hariram, 5th D is not the correct answer. Kavya is also saying D. A is the correct answer. All of you have given the correct answer. Now read question number 6 and answer it to me. Yes, definitely. It's partner's liability. It's duties to compensate the firm. Right. Good, Mr. Abhishek. For the 6th one, the correct answer is, many of you have given. I'm still waiting for the answer. Abhishek, why are you saying D? For earning personal profits, you're saying absolutely wrong. 6th D could never happen. You can never open up a firm for earning personal profits. Section 16, if you earn any personal profits, you must pay to the firm whatever you have taken. Okay. Again, Samay Mantri, Surya Teja. 6th D is the incorrect answer. Please, children, you can never take personal profits home. So apart from this, everyone, Tamanna is again giving a wrong answer. Tamanna, you open up a partnership only for the welfare of society. No, bacha. Yes, welfare of society is very important. Advantage of family members to kabhi bhi nahi. Earning personal profits, never. To earn the greatest common advantage is the correct answer. All of you have given the correct answer. Sakina Banu, D is not the correct answer, bacha. You never earn personal profits. I don't know why you are saying 6th D. 5-6 students have absolutely sent the wrong answer. Earning personal profits का मतलब होता है कि मैंने profits firm में से घर ले गए, personally खा लिए हमने profits. तो ऐसा allowed नहीं है. Section 16 पढ़ोगे आप एक बारी. This is not allowed to be done. You have to carry on the business for the greatest common advantage, means that for the greatest benefit of the common benefit, means सबका फायदा होना चाहिए. If A, B, C are the firm associates, they should do such kind of business with 3 of partners. There should be common advantage for all of them. ये नहीं कि सिर्फ A को ही फायदा हो रहा है, B and C को कोई फायदा ही नहीं हो रहा. ऐसे थोड़ी ना फॉर्म चल सकती है. You have to see the common interest, you have to see the common benefits given to all of the partners together. Done. Now let's start with the minor of as a partner. Section 29 sub partner अच्छे से पढ़ लेंगे आप, and then next class we will do a very interesting case study on the basis of sub partnership as well. Can minor be admitted in the partnership firm, children? Can we hire minor? Where is it written under the? I really like this line Mr. Abhishek has written. Sorry, ma'am, I didn't read it properly. That is why I answered incorrect. अब ये ना बहुत बड़ी बात है, Mr. Abhishek. This is the biggest mistake which children actually make in CA Inter also. So after foundation, when you go to CA Inter, you are going to get huge number of MCQs. So I want to share a tip over here since Abhishek has written it. So it reminds me to tell all of you also. In CA foundation, you don't get MCQs, but once you have done with your CA foundation, when you go to the second level, that is CA Inter, children, you do get MCQs. The only tip that you have to remember for doing MCQs is always read the MCQ and frame the answer in your mind. Never ever read the options first. Always try to frame the answer first. You will never go incorrect in your answers. The only confusion in MCQs is we write the options in such a way just to put your confusion in your mind. So if you'll not read the question carefully, you'll not think the answer on your own. Unless and until you'll not think the answer on your own, all the options will seem similar. So MCQ का thumb rule हमेशा यही है, जब भी आप इंटर में करोगे, आप पहले क्वेश्चन पढ़ोगे और क्वेश्चन का आंसर सोचोगे, फिर आप ऑप्शंस रीड करोगे, तो आप कभी भी गलती नहीं करते हो इस सेंस में. And in CA foundation, you don't get MCQs. But ma'am, do we have to do the MCQs from study material? Yes, you have to do all the MCQs from study material to clear your concepts. MCQs really work like wonders. आपकी ना बहुत अच्छी revision हो जाती है when you go through the MCQs, because now you know that you have learned the content, so you can test your knowledge by doing the MCQs. All right. So minor admitted for the benefits of partnership. Now my question to all my students is, where is it written that minor cannot enter into a contract? Do you think minor is not competent to enter into a contract? Minor's contract is not valid. It is void of initio. कहीं पढ़ा हुआ है ना आपने? Minor is not competent to enter into contract. Who along with minor is not competent? Yes, excellent. As per the Indian Contract Act, any contract with minor is void of initio. Minor cannot enter into contract. Very good, Pramod K. That's absolutely correct. You must always read and answer the questions. Never in a hurry. Mr. Kevin is also saying the same. I hope now you'll remember that, okay? Okay, good. Bhumika is telling me minor can be admitted as a partner for the share of profits, but बच्चा मैंने ये तो पूछा ही नहीं, मैं अभी ये पूछ रही हूँ. I'm asking, where is it written that minor cannot enter into contract? Minor is not competent to enter into contract. So these two lines will always take us to the Indian Contract Act. Why do we run to the Indian Contract Act? Because Indian partnership is taken out from the Indian Contract Act itself. So most of the things, the basis of foundation of sale of goods and partnership is always in the Indian Contract Act. So you remember when we studied Indian Contract Act, we have told you that there are certain parties who are not competent to enter into contract, the 4th, 5th chapter, where we learn which are the parties who are not competent to enter into contract. जैसे हमने 5 free consent के पढ़े थे, ऐसे there are 3 type of people who are not competent to contract. The contract with them is considered as void of initio. Samay Mantri, definitely you will read the options after that. So Then it helps you to trick the mind, but always you have to think the answer first and then read the options. So who are the three parties? Section 11 of the Indian Contract Act. Excellent, Mr. Manish Jain. You remember the section also. I was just expecting the Indian Contract Act reference, but good if you remember the sections also. Yes, it is one of the essential element. Very good, Anushka Jaiswal. So who are the other parties who cannot enter into contract, children? Person with unsound mind, person who is disqualified by law, and a minor are not allowed to enter into contract. So out of that, in Indian partnership, we generally talk about the minor. Why we held them incompetent? Because we said that they are not having the eligibility. They're not that have brain development is not happened so much that they can enter into a contract. They are not given the eligibility to sign the contracts. Very good. Now you have given the correct answers. Great. All of you have given the correct answer. Okay, come back here in the presentation now. So similarly, it says that now you have revised where it is written, and there was a very important case law also which proved that Mohari Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh, which completely says that minor is not eligible to enter into a contract, and when he has given the advance money to the landlord, and the landlord went to the court and he said, see, this bacha, small kid, he has taken the advance money and now he's not paying the money. So law said it is your fault. Why did you enter into contract with minor? Minor is not competent to contract. So the money was not able, he was not able to recover his money. Remember Mohari Bibi versus Dharmodas Ghosh, in which we have concluded that any contract with minor is void ab initio. You cannot recover the money. It is your fault if you have made a contract with minor. So this is the kind of benefit that has been given to a minor. He has been disqualified by law. He has been considered not to enter into a contract. Yes, correct answer, all of you. Samir, Ranjan, Anushka, Bharat, Shruti, Tanmeet, Samir, Nikita, all of you are correct. So now section 30 subsection 1 says, but ma'am, we can allow the minor to become a partner in a firm. Although he is not competent to enter into the contract, but still we can make minor as a partner in the firm. You can see this small kid, less than 18 years of age, who is a minor, who has not attained the age of 18 years. So less than 18 years, maybe he's just 14 years of age. And we have consented that he can become a partner in the firm only for the benefits of partnership. What is the meaning of benefits for the partnership? Only for eating the profits of the firm. He will never ever be held personally liable. छोटे से बच्चा है ना बेचारा, ये तो सिर्फ आपका कंप्यूटर चलाने आया, अकाउंट्स हैंडल करने आया, हेल्प करने के लिए आया है. So ABC were three partners. Mr. A had a son, Mr. D, and he said, I also want to become partner in your firm. So he said, okay, I will make you a partner in the firm. You're lending your name, you're joining as a partner. You will also get entitled to eat all the profits of the firm. So there was existence of partnership firm. Yes, ma'am. ABC associates were already existing and they have entered minor as a partner, a junior guy who has been admitted for the benefits of partnership. All the partners have consented. If B and C says, no, we will not take Mr. D as a partner, then can you hire minor as a partner? Yes or no? If D and B says that we will not, yes, he's a partner in profits only, that's correct. Then if D and B are not allowing him to be partner, can we allow Mr. D to become a partner? The answer is no, then he cannot become a partner. The way sub-partner consent, all of the partners required. Similarly, in minor also, consent of all the partners is mandatory, means all the partners should agree. Then only the small kid, Mr. D, can become a partner in the firm. Consent of the parties is very important in order to allow the minor to come in the firm. And the meaning of existence of partnership firm, if I say tomorrow A, B, and this minor Mr. D want to start a partnership business together on its own, can they do that? Can they do that? Yes, Nikita, this cute child is there just to help you to visual representations always help to retain the information in the mind also. So that's why pictures are very important at times. All right, good. All of you have given the correct answer for this one also. So now my another question is, children, can we open up a new partnership firm with minor? Answer is no, because existence of partnership firm means the firm should already be into an existence, then only a minor can join that firm. But we cannot make up a new firm by taking minor as a partner. All right, clear. Now let's go to the position of a minor during minority and option on attaining majority. So these are very, very easy options which are given in a study material also. Different points have been given, rights and duties during minority and majority. Here I've just discussed the briefing with all of you. So what are the rights that have been given during minority? He has right to the profit and access to the firm's accounts and can inspect the accounts thereof. So a minor, although he is not eligible to any liabilities, he does not have personal liabilities, but he can check the firm's accounts. Now, how is he going to check the firm's account? He may ask any one of his uncle or relative or brother to help him in seeing the firm's accounts, and inspection can be done by a minor as well. However, he cannot inspect other papers. That means he does not have the right to check. He can see the books of accounts, the business, that how the bit is being done, but he cannot inspect other papers like rent agreements or agreements with other dealers, whatever important papers are lying over there. He cannot inspect all the other papers of the partnership business. And if he is not happy with any default or any dispute occurring and he is not getting his proper share of profits, then he can file a suit against the firm. But before that, he must sever his connection, means he must end up his connection with the firm. He has to say goodbye, tata, bye bye, dissolve the firm, release himself, retire himself, or leave the firm before taking any action for the recovery of his share of profits. So there was a minor, Mr. D. He was not happy with his share of profits and he wanted to sue the firm. He wanted to take an action. So first he will get his name removed from the firm. He will sever his connection, means he will cut off his connections from the firm, and then he can file a case for the accounts and recovery of his share and profits. And what are the options on attaining majority? Within 6 months of attaining majority or within 6 months of acquiring knowledge that minor can decide to continue the partnership, public notice has to be given. So minor has to give a public notice that yes, now I am deciding to become a partner in this firm or not. If he does not give a public notice, it will be assumed that he has become a partner in the firm and all the rights and liabilities as given to a partner will become eligible to a minor also. So two things that you have to remember: during minority, you can inspect the books of accounts through any of your senior uncle or brother or relative, but you cannot inspect the rent agreements and other kind of important papers. And if you want to file up any case against the firm, you must cut your connections, means you must resign from the firm, leave from the firm, then only you can take an action against the firm. And what are the 2 points attaining public majority? How much time period has been given? Within 6 months. So if you have attained the majority in December 2021, then Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, by June 2022, you must give the public notice, or within 6 months of acquiring the knowledge. So if you have decided to become the partner, if you have decided, taken a decision within 6 months from that date of decision, you must give a public notice that yes, I'm joining as a partner. Even if you don't want to join, you have to, for discontinuing any decision of acquiring or discontinuing, has to be given through a public notice. And if the minor does not give a public notice, he will become a partner in the ordinary course of business. All right. So I give you 5 minutes again. Let's take a small break once again, and you just go through the minor points in the study material. I will go through your queries meanwhile, and quickly we'll finish the minor and other topics from the study material now. All right, let's take a small break. I have seen your messages also, and I understand you have gone through this minor major concept. Many of you have written understood, and some of you are still raising a query. So let us clear the points from the study material. Yes, Ms. Shreya Tiwari, definitely we will cover that point on page number 3.32. Okay, ratification of the acts. We will not be going into Indian Contract Act child, but simply after becoming major, how the conditions happen, Mr. Abhishek Vishwakarma, we will just go through the same from the study as well. Section 25 and 26 also once. Okay, we will now take up all the remaining sections from the study material. Section 20, सबको clear extension of authority. Admission of a partner, section 23, children, we don't need to do it. You can simply give it a reading. It just tells you that when a partner is joining a firm, he becomes liable for all his activities from the date of joining. So XY are partners in a firm, and examples, each and every example you have to do from the study material. If you are doing any particular section, examples are must. So X and Y are partners dealing in spare parts. Z purchases a spare part after being told by X that a spare part is suitable. So one of the partner has done the transaction and Y was not aware about this transaction, and later on the spare part was found unsuitable. X and Y both will be held responsible to Mr. Z. You cannot say that a new partner has joined and he has done any mistake. If anything has been done by the firm, the whole of the firm is liable for the loss to Mr. Z. ये वाली line simply आपने याद रखनी है. Any act done by the partner is binding on whole of the firm. All right. Similarly, go through examples 8 and D as well. They are very, very simple. Now let's discuss about the 25 to 27. Certain persons were found to be have partners in the firm, and the acts constituting were infringement of a trademark. So remember, what is infringement of a trademark? You are misusing someone else's trademark. It was held they will be liable for any of the liability arising. It is immaterial that the damages arose after the dissolution. If any act or mission has been done by the partner, children, anything done by the partners, whole of the firm becomes liable for that. That's why we say that the firm is jointly as well as severally liable. अगर आप कोई भी infringement कर रहे हो, कोई भी illegal activity कर रहे हो, whole of the firm will be held liable. Even if damages arose means, even if you have not calculated the damages till the time they just came into knowledge after dissolution, then also whole of the firm will be liable. Section 26, one of the two partners in coal mine acted as a manager and was guilty of personal negligence, omitting to have the shaft of the mine properly fenced. Hence, an injury was caused to the workman. The other partner will also be held responsible. Anything that you're doing, all the partners are liable to third party. Now, what is happening over here? There was a coal mine. Person was acting as a manager and some shaft of the mine was to be fenced. Shaft of the mine means कोई machinery थी वहां पे जिसकी fencing करनी जरूरी थी. आसपास उसके कुछ लगाना या फेंसिंग करना, तो आपने बहुत डिटेल में नहीं जाना. आपने यहाँ पे जो पॉइंट है समझने वाला, दैट इज अबाउट द नेग्लिजेंस ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ वन ऑफ द पार्टनर. इवन इफ वन ऑफ द पार्टनर हैज मिसयूज्ड द प्रॉपर्टी और हैज एक्टेड इन अ नेग्लिजेंस, एंड द थर्ड पार्टी, हु इज द थर्ड पार्टी, वर्कर इज द थर्ड पार्टी ओवर हियर, हु हैज सफर्ड लॉस बिकॉज ऑफ इट, other partner will also be held responsible. Why? Because whole of the firm is responsible for the action of the partners. All right, any wrongful act done by one partner, whole of the firm become responsible. And for any misapplication of funds, A, B, and C are working in a place for car parking. P stands his car in the parking place and A sold out to the stranger. Very, very interesting. Now, this is example number 12 is actually very funny, children. There were three partners, A, B, C, and they were doing the business in a place of car parking. तो उनका बिजनेस ही ये था, गाड़ी का पार्किंग का उन्होंने अलॉटमेंट लिया हुआ था फॉर प्लेस ऑफ अ कार पार्किंग. Now they were partners for that place. Okay, they are doing business, that they're having that area for car parking has been given. And one of the stranger just comes and parks over a car over there, and A sold out his car to a stranger. It was Mr. P's car. A has done misapplication of funds. You have misapplied something which belongs to someone else. It is in the custody of the firm and you have misapplied it. Just because he was making the car stand in your area does not mean that you become the owner and you sell the car. And for this liability, if you're trying to hold only A liable, whole of the firm is liable for the acts of the firm on the basis of implied authority, principle of mutual agency. Clear? 25 to 26. Ritu Tiwari, you were asking the examples. I hope you are now clear on this. Section 29, we have done already from the examples also. Now let us quickly understood about the minor. These are the general points that you have to read for the minor. It simply tells you that minor is liable for the acts of the firm, but minor is never ever held personally liable. What is the meaning of holding personally liable? Whatever the profits of the share you have agreed to give the minor, say minor is getting 3,000 rupees profits, only up till those 3,000 rupees profits, his liability can be taken, but he can never be asked to bring the personal assets from home and dispose of the liabilities. Minor will never be personally liable for the liabilities of the firm. And आपने इसमें से क्या पढ़ना है? Section 30. Leave this Section 30. Simply come directly to the analysis of Section 30. आप इसको पढ़ोगे ही नहीं सबको, because this is again a typical law language which has been written, but the study material has beautifully drafted everything in the analysis. So ma'am, what we have to read, we simply have to start reading from here, analysis of Section 30. These are the rights which are given to the minor. We have already discussed this, right? How much time period notice has to be given? Within 6 months, the notice has to be given when you decide to become the partner. Liability क्या है उसकी before becoming major? Liability is only to the extent of share. तो अभी मैंने आपको बताया 3,000 share of profits he is having, he is liable only up to those share. He has no personal liability. Simple. Minor will never be declared insolvent. Can you declare a minor insolvent? Minor is somebody who has not attained 18 years of age, and he can never be declared insolvent because he's just a partner in the firm for the benefits. He's not the active partner in the firm. He's only eating the profits, so he cannot be declared insolvent. But the firm in which the minor is working, if that firm is declared insolvent, then his share of profits will be lying with the official receiver or assignee, and he will give it to the minor. So an official receiver can be appointed for the minor, but minor cannot be declared insolvent. If the firm has been declared, then he will step into the shoes of the creditors and will stand in front of the official receiver. And the way the firm is making payment to the creditors, they will also pay off the money of the minor. So all these benefits have been given to the minor. But the very difficult part is when he chooses to become partner, then children, he become personally liable. Then all those who were asking, ma'am, this paragraph, when he becomes a partner, then he becomes personally liable to the firm since the date he was admitted to the benefits of partnership. So if he has joined the firm on 1st January 2022 and in February is becoming major, February 2022, if he has become major, then from 1st January 2022, whatever benefits, whatever when the date when he was admitted, whatever liabilities are occurring to the third parties, minor will also become personally liable. Personally liable means now his liability becomes unlimited. His share of the profits remain the same. So be very careful if as a minor you're becoming a partner, your share of profit, if it was 50, if it was 1/3 share of profit you were getting, you will still get the 1/3 share, but your liabilities will increase. So what happens if a minor chooses to become a major within 6 months? Number one, his liability become unlimited, and number two, his share of profits remain the same. A simple language mein likh lena. Section 30 subsection 7 says, number one, his liabilities become unlimited. Number two, his share of profits remain the same. And what if he decides not to become a partner? Then his rights and liabilities will be up till of a minor up till the date of public notice. So does a minor require to give a public notice? Yes, ma'am, he should give a public notice. If he has not given the public notice, then he will be held liable as a partner. After the date of notice, he will never be held liable for any acts of the firm. Even his share of profit will not be held liable. He shall be entitled to sue the partners for his share of the profits. If he is not given his profits, he can file a case. He can take up an action against the other partners. Such minor shall give notice to the registrar that he has become or not become a partner. Registrar of firms को inform करना बहुत जरूरी है whether you are choosing to become a partner or you are choosing not to become a partner. Clear hai? So minor topic is very, very important. We have certain MCQs also related to minor and we'll try to do that as well. Okay, Bhumika, I hope the 6th point is now clear. Mr. Suchang, if you want to call the minor as a sleeping partner, the only difference is minor is admitted for the benefits of partnership. Sleeping partner is liable to third parties, okay? But minor is not liable, is not personally liable. So minor is different, personal sleeping partner is different. 6th point again, you're saying which 6th point are you talking about? Is there any clear 6th point? Always mention clearly what you're talking about. There are no 6th point. If you're going here in the analysis, I told you, please don't read the section. Simply you have to read the analysis, okay? So in the analysis, the 6th point become very, very simple, that you're just admitting him from the benefits, and within the expiry of 6 months period, if you have become major right now, if December 22 was your birthday, then within 6 months by June 2023, you should give a public notice whether you have chosen to become a partner in the firm or not. Clear? Now, section 31 to 35 are very, very simple, children. Section 31 simply tells you about the introduction of partner. Let me take up these sections from the presentation, and for insolvency, we'll come back here. Section 31. Now, these white and yellow cuties were partners in a firm, and he's introducing, look, this Mr. White is another one who is joining the firm. So section 31 tells you a unanimous consent. What is the meaning of unanimous consent? All the partners should consent, then only you can join the firm. So till now, we have done 3 places where consent of all the partners is compulsory. Number 1, sub-partner. He can only clear notes. Sub-partner can join the firm only with the consent of all the partners. Minor can join the firm only with the consent of all the partners. And introduction of a new partner can be done only with the consent of all the partners. Subject to contract in section 30, without unanimous consent, nobody can be introduced. Now, why is saying subject to section 30? Because section 30 exclusively talks about joining as a minor. Other than a minor, any person who is joining, section 31 will be applicable. क्या बोला मैंने? For minor, section 30 is exclusively given. So if examiner give you any descriptive case study relating to a minor joining the partnership firm, you will refer to section 30. If I simply ask you somebody is joining the firm as a partner, then section 31 talks about the incoming partner. So this white and yellow is introducing Mr. White, please come, and he is joining as a partner. So both of them, A and B, are consenting that yes, C can join, then yes, ma'am, he can join as a partner. Will he be liable for the acts done before his partnership if he is joining the partnership on 1st January 2023? Can you hold Mr. C liable for any purchases that were made in November 22? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Can Mr. C, a new partner is joining the firm, will be held liable? Yes, Manshi Sahani, that was correct. Sarvesh, yes, you can call him for the partner in profits only, but that partner was also liable for the acts of the firm for the profits, but minor will only be liable up till his share of profits in the firm. Kavya V, any fraud done by any person, whether he's minor or not, legal actions can be taken against the same. So we should never consider the minor as one that who is given a safe side. There is a criminal law also. If you try to do any such kind of acts, then you might be held liable under different kind of acts. He cannot ratify his acts after attaining majority. Okay, I'll explain you this point as well. Many of you are writing about this point. Yes, he will be held liable to third parties after becoming major. No, ma'am, new partner will not be held liable. Why he will not be held liable? Because section 21 subsection 2 says he will not be liable for any acts done before his partnership. So clear हो गया? November 22 को मैंने जो भी purchases करी हैं, Mr. C will not be liable. Nothing prevents him to take up this liability. Mr. C is a business of renowned personality and he has huge money and everything. He says, I am ready to take up their liability. Then please feel free. Partnership is all about agreement. If you have made an agreement, I'll take up the liabilities, then please take up. Nobody will stop you. Clear? Outgoing partners, there are 4 ways in which the partners can leave the firm. Number 1, retirement. Number 2, when you become insolvent. Expulsion means to throw out a partner from the firm. Expulsion is very, very important. When we start Friday registration of partnership, first we will 5 minutes, we'll take on the expulsion of partnership and the death of partnership. Firm is not necessarily dissolved. It is only continuing with the existing partner. So if A, B, and C are the partners, A is retiring, B and C can still continue with the firm. How is the retirement going to happen? Retirement should also happen with the consent of all the partners. as per the agreement by giving notice in writing in case of partnership at will. So what is the partnership at will? A and B are the partners and they have not decided what term they will be continuing. Therefore, it is partnership at will. Now, if A wants to leave the firm, he should at least give a notice in writing, because there was no fixed period. There's no determination of partnership. There was no particular business. So it was just at will. So at will, any partnership we are doing, in that case, when you are retiring, you should give a written notice to another partner. Any acts done before retirement, the partners still remain liable. A partner can retire, but not from his subsisting liability. In this example, if I'm retiring on 1st January 2023, will I be liable if I was a partner on November 2022? Yes, ma'am, because you were a partner on November 2022, whatever transactions were done in the business, you will still be held liable. Only thing which discharges you from your liability is by giving a public notice. Beyond that date, you will not be liable. He may be discharged from his liabilities before retirement if there is any agreement. So जिस तरह से partner, incoming partner can make an agreement and is ready to take up the liabilities. Similarly, you may discharge yourself, means you may remove yourself from the liabilities if you have made any agreement with the third parties. So if you made an agreement that I will not be liable, look, I'm just resigning in another 2 months, I am retiring, so I will not be liable, then you will not be liable. Otherwise, if no such agreement has been made, a partner will remain liable until all his liabilities have been disposed of. Liabilities for the acts after retirement. Now, this is very, very important. Section 32, subsection 3. Many a time examiner can give you a question based on different kind of dates, and you have to only see the crux that whether a public notice was given by the retiring partner or not. Very, very important concept. So where I fail to give any public notice, retiring partner is not liable to anyone who deals with the firm without knowledge that he was a partner. So if any notice has not been given, if you have not given the notice, how do you give a public notice? You either give an advertisement or notice in the newspapers, magazines, or ads is given that now I'm retiring from this firm. So you have to publicly announce in front of all the dealers that you have now left the firm. If you fail to give the public notice, you will be continually held liable for whatever is being done in the even after your retirement. Retiring partner is not liable to the third party who deals with the firm without knowing that he was a partner. So if there was any sleeping partner is never required to give a public notice. Insolvency, are you required to give a public notice? You have been declared insolvent by the order of court only. So you don't need to give any public notice. A partner has died. How will he come to give the public notice? He has died only. Na? So in case of death, there is no need of giving any public notice. Notice may be given by the retiring partner or any other partner. So either retiring partner himself can give the public notice or any other partner of the reconstituted firm, means those who have joined the firm now. They can give the public notice. All right. So public notice point is clear. All right, expulsion of a partner, section 33, expulsion of a partner. So retirement of partner is clear, children. Again, consent of all the partners is required and you have to give a public notice. That is very important. Expulsion is a very important topic and I don't want to leave a single line. So expulsion we will take up in the next session when we start. Now quickly come to insolvency of a partner. What is the meaning of insolvent? When my assets are not sufficient to dispose of my liabilities, I don't have money to make the payments. So now here we are talking about how does a partner becomes insolvent. A partner ceases to be a partner on the date of order of adjudication. So court will give the orders that you have now become insolvent, so you cannot continue as a partner. Let me show it to you, this beautiful map that has been given in the study material. Simply you have to look into that. अच्छा, ये विष्णु चंद्रा वर्सेस चंद्रिका प्रसाद सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसके ऊपर अभी आते हैं, बट पहले इंसॉल्वेंसी ऑफ पार्टनरशिप देख लो. Insolvency of a partnership, again we have to simply read the analysis. No need to read this important detailed paragraph. You can simply just read what is given under section 34 in this flow chart. So what happens when the insolvency occurs? I hope it's clear to all of you. It's clearly visible. Effects of insolvency. Insolvency, number one, the partner cannot continue to act as a partner. You have been declared insolvent. From the date when you have been declared insolvent, You will cease to be a partner means you will stop being a partner in the firm. You cannot be a partner in the firm. From the date, let's assume that date is 1 January 2023. You have been declared insolvent. Now you cannot be a partner. Estate of the insolvent partner is not liable for any acts done after the date of order of adjudication. Estate means his property, his share of profits, his assets will not be held liable after 1 January 2023. So on 1 January 2023, this person was declared insolvent. Now he will not be held liable for the actions of the firm after this date. Firm is also not liable for any acts of the insolvent partner after the date of order of adjudication. Now, this Mr. C, who was declared insolvent, he is not liable for any actions of the firm after this date. Even the firm is not liable. Mr. C, go and make certain purchases with any other dealer. Firm will not be held liable because you have been declared insolvent. Court has given us the orders. We are not liable for you. Neither you are liable for us, nor we are liable. Okay. But the partners are competent to agree among themselves and will not give rise to dissolution. So it is not compulsory that insolvency will result in dissolution. If A, B continues to continue the firm, then also they can continue. A, B ko laga, acha, C has been declared insolvent. C was a major partner. We want to dissolve the firm. They can dissolve the firm also. It is completely the choice of the firm whether they want to dissolve the firm or they still want to continue. All right. What happens in case of a death of a partner? When the partner has died, same principle जो insolvency में है वही deceased partner में है. Number one, आपको कोई public notice देने की जरूरत नहीं है, and your legal heirs can investigate and inspect the books of accounts because they want to see whether the share of profits have been calculated clearly and correctly. And number three, the estate of the deceased partner will not be liable for any acts done after the death of the partner. You are making the purchases and you're still holding the legal representatives liable, this cannot be done. But any acts done before, during his lifetime, then still you can hold them liable. This is what is written in your example number 15. That is also important. X was a partner in the firm and the firm ordered the goods in X's lifetime. तो एक पार्टनर था मिस्टर एक्स एंड फर्म ने गुड्स ऑर्डर करे. गुड्स ऑर्डर करे मींस पेमेंट करनी थी अब, बट डिलीवरी वाज मेड आफ्टर एक्सेस डेथ. X's estate will not be liable. Why? Because the actual creditor can only have a personal decree, means he can only file a case against the surviving partner and against the partnership assets. Now, Mr. X has already died. So X's estate means uski property kya liable hoegi wo goods ke liye. He says the debt was accrued only after his death. There was no debt. No debt means कोई पैसा देने वाला था ही नहीं उस वक्त. अगर उसकी लाइफ टाइम में ही गुड्स आ जाते and there was a payment due, then you can hold Mr. X liable. But children, a suit for goods sold and delivered will not lie against the representative, means that the representatives of the deceased partner will not be held liable because there was no debt, there was no liability due in respect of goods in X's lifetime. Now, such kind of examples I really enjoy studying with you because examiner can straight away give you this kind of question in exam. Now, all those my students who keep asking, ma'am, answer kaise likhna hai? X was a partner, some goods have been given in his lifetime. That means now my brain has read this question and I know it relates to death of a partner. So number one paragraph, concern provision. So you will write, what is the concern provision in this case? Ma'am, this topic relates to the death of a partner and you will give a briefing of section 35 mein jo bhi likha hai in your own words. That means a death of a partner, no public notice is required. The deceased members, representative of deceased partner will not be held liable for any acts done after the death of the partner. Facts of the case, second paragraph. What are the facts of the case? In this particular case, the goods were, the order was placed during the lifetime of the partner, but delivery was made after his death. Therefore, liability was not accruing during the lifetime of Mr. X. Facts of the case always has to be written as a short story from the question which the examiner has given to you. And finally, we give our conclusion. Conclusion will always be based on the above provisions and analysis we conclude, what do you conclude? That this Mr. X will not be held liable, or not Mr. X, who has anyways died. The legal representatives of the deceased partner, Mr. X, will not be held liable. Why, ma'am? Because the goods were delivered after his death. So there was no liability which was accruing during his lifetime. Therefore, he'll not held liable. Now, what the problem actually occurs in exam is, children, now the answer to this example number 15 was very, very simple. But the problem is, most of the time you don't know how to write it. And you get cross in that, and then you come back and you tell us that, ma'am, I've not cleared my exam. So please try writing the answers in your own language. इन 3 पैराग्राफ्स में 100% आपको आंसर लिखना पड़ेगा. आंसर बहुत छोटा होता है लॉ में. 6 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन है, आंसर बहुत सिंपल है. वी आर जस्ट सीइंग योर प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ आंसर्स, and this is what each and every teacher is trying to tell you in the class. You have to write it, provisions, facts of the case, and then conclusion. Frame it in that way, then you get good marks. If you simply go over there and write that goods were not delivered during X's lifetime, therefore he is not liable, आंसर ठीक है, but 1 नंबर मिलेगा 6 में से. बट जिस तरह मैंने आपको बताया, आप ऐसे प्रॉपर प्रेजेंटेशन देकर आओगे, उसकी प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ आंसर्स, यू गेट मार्क्स फॉर दैट. Highlighting, underlining, writing in bold, everything has marks for that. For creating an impression, it's always good. And class खत्म करने से पहले हम केस लॉ भी देख कर ही जाएंगे. वो बोला, I don't want to carry it to the next class. So this case law of retirement of partner is very, very interesting and very, very important, since they have given it. So we have to read it. No need to learn case laws. Okay, in partnership case law, learning compulsory nahi hai. Vishnu Chandra versus Chandrika Prasad Supreme Court judgment. Anyways, it is a Supreme Court judgment, so we have to read it. If any partner wants to disassociate from the partnership business, in a clause of the partnership deed which was being construed, comprehends a situation where the partner wants to retire from the partnership. अब ये इतनी 2 जो डिफिकल्ट लाइंस थी, उनका सिंपल मीनिंग है कि अगर ये क्लॉज पार्टनरशिप डीड में दिया गया है कि आप रिटायर हो सकते हो, तो प्लीज डिसएसोसिएट योरसेल्फ. You can leave the firm, you can go retire. The expression clearly indicated that even in the event of retirement, partnership business will not come to an end. This is what was concluded in the Supreme Court judgment, which says that retirement is not just the cause of dissolution of firm. Like we just discussed in insolvency, that if A and B still wants to continue, they can continue the firm. Even if a partner is retiring, there were 5 partners, A, B, C, D, and E. E is retiring from the firm. Yes, ma'am, he can retire, because if there is a clause mentioned in the partnership deed where we have written that the partner can retire, then please disassociate yourself from the partnership firm. We don't mind. But does ABCD associates come to an end? No, ma'am, retirement of firm does not indicate that the partnership business will come to an end. They can still continue the business. The only thing that we have to notice is Mr. E, who has retired, will not be held liable for any actions done after his retirement, provided he has given the public notice. बस ये जरूरी बातें याद रखनी. आपने पब्लिक नोटिस दे दिया, आप लाइबिलिटी से मुक्त हो जाओगे. आप नहीं दोगे तो आप लाइबल रहोगे. अदरवाइज आपने एक बार पब्लिक नोटिस दे दिया, यू विल नॉट बी हेल्ड लाइबल फॉर एनी एक्शंस डन आफ्टर द डेट ऑफ रिटायरमेंट. बट डज द फर्म कम टू एन एंड? सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट सेज नो, फर्म विल नॉट कम टू एन एंड. फर्म विल स्टिल कंटिन्यू बिजनेस. क्लियर? So we have done almost everything of relationship of partners. There are 1 or 2 MCQs. It's already 4 o'clock. Otherwise, we would have done it. I am here for more 2 minutes. We will wind up this chapter by doing expulsion from in the next class. And you can ask me any questions if you want to. Yes, Mr. Tushar Goyal, your questions are coming. You can quickly ask me if you want to ask any question. Thank you, Ayushi Bothra. Effects of insolvency not clear. Miss Nikita, just remember that chart and listen to the lecture that I've just discussed. Sit down nicely and read it and do it, and you'll understand. Simple insolvency says that once you have been declared insolvent, neither firm is liable for your actions, nor you are liable for the actions of the firm. Okay. Thank you so much, Shruti Patel. Thank you, Hari Ram. Thank you, Lisa Jain. Any doubts, children? Aisha Sood is asking meaning of dominant. Dominant is again the word given for the sleeping partner. Dominant का मतलब होता है जैसे आपका बैंक में saving account and you have not been using it, so it become redundant. It gets closed. It's sleeping. Similarly, dominant is the word used for sleeping partner because he's not actively participating in the business. Therefore, it says dominant partner is not required to give the public notice because public never knew that you are the partner. Yes, Ms. Priyanka, if the other partners reject him, then he cannot be admitted as the partner. All right. Thank you, Ritu Tiwari. If there will be doubts, can I ask? Yes, Shruti Pathak, please go through your lectures and you can ask if there are any doubts. Ready for MCQs? Miss 3S is saying I'm ready. So we'll take up the MCQs in the next class. Don't worry. All right. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Mr. Sujang. Section 36, 37, 38, Mr. Kevin, don't worry, revocation of continuing guarantee and all those points, subsequent profits. Once I wind up the expulsion, we will quickly take up 36, 37, 38 along with section 33 in the next class, and then we'll proceed to the registration and resolution. Everything will be done. Don't worry, Mr. Kevin. Thank you, Rabish Chaudhary. Thank you so much. Insufficient for yes. All right. Mrs. Manshi Sahani, we will do the mock test papers at the end from the examination questions. Then you can understand once again about the descriptive questions. All right. Thank you so much, children. It's already your time done. Goodbye. See you on Friday.